So the question that Nilofer had, and we'll start off the meeting just with that, is she's new to the business, and she's really happy to help anybody in real estate at this point in time and get some education as well as some practice doing some deals. And there's a lot of people asking, to do rentals or specifically probably tenants finding a rental property. Yep. And she says the people around the office says, don't waste your time. It's, it's a bit of a waste of money and waste of time because, and essentially this is exactly why we're having today's meeting. So at the end of the meeting, I'll see if I've answered your question. How's that? So what a great question though. It's essentially turning a loss into a win and converting the rental business into money. Is doing rentals a waste of money? Is it a waste of time? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. This seminar hasn't been done before. I kind of threw it together because I knew there was this opportunity in the industry that a lot of our agents are taking to do rental business, and 50% of our business right now in terms of transactions are rentals. So how can we take advantage of that? Because we can turn this around and make it a profit center for everyone. And I'm just going to click through these. I hope everybody can see my screen. Let's talk about a few things first. In terms of the market conditions right now, 2 years ago, we would have been talking about multiple offers today because that was the hot topic. Right now, 50% of transaction are rentals. And the stress test, affordability issues, those are the reasons for it. The rental rates have gone up. Anything that was $1,800 2 years ago is now $2,500 a month. And it's because of the influx and the affordability of not being able to purchase something. So everybody's buying or renting it instead. And that is somebody I'm going to admit. I don't know if you guys can hear that beep, but every time we get a beep, that's somebody joining us. So the other thing is investors are taking advantage of this. And we're dealing with investors every day as well, looking for rental properties. And one of the things that we can chat a little bit about is the fact that if we're dealing with a listing, that means somebody has an investment property and there is an opportunity there either to buy more investment properties or to sell their investment property when the market turns around and goes up. And that's what happened. It went down over the last 2 years. So people are saying, well, instead of flipping it, which we sort of hope to do, we're just going to rent it out. So that combined with lack of affordability of purchasing, it's kind of a perfect storm when it comes to rentals. Moving on, but are they really a loss? They're very low commissions. When we look at what we make as real estate agents on average per commission, it's probably in around $10,000 or $12,000 on average. So, and when you're making 1,000 and then split taxes, overhead, even the coffees you're buying your clients while you're taking them out, is that worth it, right? As well on the listing side, is it worth going out and doing videos and pictures for the property and paying for any tours or virtual tours, any of that sort of stuff? So I'm not seeing a lot of that because people feel that if you're only making $1,000, if that, is it really worth spending any money on it? So why are we doing them? That's the question, right? That's the main question. Somebody who's joined us in the room, welcome. Well, let's look at a few things first. Where is our business coming from? So as a company, we have an ability, and some of the people that are taking my quick start courses know this answer, but we have the ability to actually check statistics on where business is coming from because we ask this question in our surveys through Real Satisfied. So we have all that statistical information. And when we add up where our business is coming from, and if anybody wants to see this spreadsheet, I can show you it. But between past clients and referrals, friends, family, and just the people that you know, one more person admitting, is 84.8% of our business is coming from those people. Sphere of influence, friends, family, past clients, and referrals. So anybody out there door knocking today and cold calling, we know that you want to add those to your sphere of influence to build your book of business. That's the reason why you're doing it. But 84.8 of it, 85% of your business is coming from the people you already know. So how is this going to benefit us? And I'm going to get to that. Exactly. See, another prompt. It's a great prompt. Yes, it's an investment. And near the end, I put that in there. This is an investment. But this gives us an opportunity is what it does, right? It gives, anytime you can meet somebody and you can make them happy, it's an opportunity, right? If you found out that somebody needs to get into a private school that their son is looking to get into, but you happen to know the dean of students for that private school, and you get them into that private school, are they going to be happy with you? Yes. You're helping them out. So what do they want to do for you? You say, hey, listen, anytime you know anybody who's looking for a house, buy, sell, this is what I do for a living. I appreciate the referrals. They're going to reciprocate in the next 2 months with anybody they hear is looking to buy and sell by giving you a referral. So by getting them to that private school, it could be that referral alone could get you 12,000 in the first deal. Then their friends purchased, so another 12, and then they bought and sold, so another 24. It adds up. That one act of kindness or that one favor you did for somebody actually turned into 50, 60,000 over 5 years of business. That's how real estate works. If anybody wants to know the key to success in real estate, there is really no key to success in real estate. It's just doing the things that, be a people person. Always look to impress, always look to help people. So we are in the people relationship business. Every advocate is an income source and opportunity. Anybody who's going to advocate for you is going to say, oh, Aaron's the best, you got to use him. You'll get business left, right, and center from that person. They become an A on your sphere of influence. They're the person that you're going to send bottles of wine to or take them out for dinner, or you're going to spend a lot of time with because they're an advocate. And so what are we looking to do? We're looking to build our book of business all the time. And we're trying to impress the clients. The referrals will come. So we get the mentality. It's a mentality shift that everybody needs to make in their mind of how they are interacting with people. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of effort. And I'm going to show you how it's not a waste of money. Okay. So I've had this conversation the last month with many of the agents around the office, and I give the advice, and I don't think there's a lot that are taking me up on it, but I believe that it's the best advice anyone can give when it comes to rentals. Is I want you to lose as much money as possible in a rental. Be efficient. You're not looking to lose a lot of time, but when it comes to like the difference of spending $200 on the listing spotlight, for example, you're going to do it. $200 is going to buy you business. You're investing the $200 to take professional pictures of photography and videos. You're going to spend extra time and effort on the listing because people see that. They see it online. Your friends and family see it. Your friends in the sphere of influence see all your listings. They go on your website. You share it on Facebook. And if they see just the picture of you, the one where you're standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom, and they can kind of see you taking the picture in the background, and this is the bathroom, those unprofessional pictures that people do for rentals, we don't want those out there. We want professional, high definition photography, right? So impress your clients. Next. So we're going to talk about a loss, right? And I put this together this morning just thinking, loss or a win. So we'll start with the L, right? Listing, whether it be for the landlord or tenant presentations. That's the first thing you want to circle. You should have a listing or a tenant presentation, or both. You should have both. Now, we as a company have always had listing presentations available to you. Now we have buyer presentations available to you that you can take and modify. My goal is this week I'm going to have a listing presentation for a landlord and a buying presentation for a tenant presentation for a tenant. Okay, those are so important when you're talking about impressing your clients. If you sit down and take the time to go through the same thing you would do purchasing a house as to leasing a house and impress them with all your knowledge and the landlord tenant laws and giving them that pamphlet and going through it with them and making sure they understand what they're going to be signing and letting them know about some of the rules of and getting them ready with a credit check with Equifax or using one of the in-house mortgage brokers and save them some money. These are all services, right? So you've got to take them through that presentation, the same that you would do if you're purchasing a property. It's going to cost you an hour, but it's going to save you time in the long run because there's not going to be a lot of questions as you go through. Over-service your client is the O. I've kind of gone through that with you, and I do want to sort of open it up a little bit to the people in Thornhill right now. I can answer questions at the end for the people online, but what are some of the ways we can over-service a client, let's say representing the tenant? Currently, tenant calls you, wants to see a property, you go in, you show it to them, you put together the agreement to lease, and then you get them the place, right? That's typical, right? You're going through the motions, you're trying to spend as less time as possible, and you know it's a money waster, correct? So what are some of the other ways that you over-service a client when it comes to representing the tenant? Over-service them.
It's like he doesn't know anything about register for hydro and something like that.
Okay.
He's asking.
So perfect. So one of the things that was said was didn't know who to call for hydro, right? So what system do we have as a company? These are good prompting. So what service do we have as a company that would provide free dollar agents and their clients that will help them with that? And the answer was concierge service. So Heritage Concierge by MoveSnap, right? That should be part of your tenant presentation to over-service them. I'm not going to just help you find a place to move into, but I'm going to help you through the process of moving into it. So we're going to provide you with an online portal. It takes 2 seconds. Click in, and then you put in your address where you're moving from and to, and it tells you exactly who to call and where to get the information, and they can go through the checklist. So that's a great point. What's another way to any other ways to over-service? Yeah, discount on furniture. Yeah, so we've got discounts on the brick. We got discounts at Dulux Paint. We got discounts to moving companies, right? So that's another way to over-service for sure. Any other things?
The whole process takes hands. You have to be hands-on.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize the rules have changed, that you have to be concerned about the utilities and the moving and
so hands-on.
And leaving the home that you're leaving in clean and move-in condition and all that kind of stuff.
So over-servicing throughout the process, keeping them informed, keep in contact with them. I mean, that's over-servicing, and this is the same thing we do with buyers, right? We want to strive to do with buying clients, but to over-service them. Anything else you can think of?
I think it depends on the tenant.
Yep, depends on the tenant.
If the guy's newcomer, so
could be a newcomer.
You have to have so many more services.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah, they may need to know where the schools are. They may need to know French immersion. They need to know the area, shopping, transit, getting
insurance, everything.
Insurance. Yeah, insurance on the property is a good point too. See, these are all the things that should be in your buying or your tenant presentation. So you don't forget to mention. Yeah, no, that's a great points. It's the process. There's a lot of paperwork. And the other thing, we do want to be diligent up front and make sure that we get the credit check ready, make sure you get the references in the application filled out and all the rest of it. So let's talk about the next is S, system for future purchase. So this is specifically if you're probably talking about a tenant that's moving into a property. Do you have a system in place so that they can purchase one day? That's an easy question to ask in your tenant questions is, would you like to purchase a house someday? And the majority of them are saying, yeah, I'd love to. Would you like me to help you get in a situation where you can possibly do that? I can help you with that. And they're going to use you. If you help them affordability of a house, or save or put in a financial planner, start using the industry specialists like a financial planner, a mortgage broker, to get them in a position where they know where their credit score is. So another part of my system would be to hook them up with Equifax and to show them how to get their credit score and to have that. I have a program that costs me $30, I think, a month, and it monitors my credit. It gives me insurance on my credit, and I know exactly when my credit goes up and down, and it tells me every month, right? So that sort of thing would help them. especially if they want to get into a good credit position. If it's down payment they need, then having a financial planner say, listen, if you want to purchase in the next 2 years and you need $20,000 down, let's start putting money aside every month. You know, can you get gift letters? You know, sit down with them and have the conversation. Gifts from family as well as RSPs, and educate them on the home buyers plan, first time home buyers plan, and stuff like that. So having a system for future purchases is really important, because that is going to come back at you in a year to 2 years. And if you don't believe me, ask Jalal. Jalal downstairs started off with 11 rentals in a row when he first started in the business. He doesn't mind me sharing this. He made $11,000, and I think it was the first year is what, at Century 21, not maybe first year in the business, but when I was his manager in Richmond Hill, I stopped by and saw him. I said, Jalal, this is how much you've made this year. 10, 11 rentals in a row. He goes, yeah, that seems to be where I'm at. I said, let's figure out a system. Well, let's put in something in place so you can turn that business into deals. You should be, you know, there's a lot of things you need to be doing there. And going back to the presentation, and actually, I'm going to mention it in the next slide, so I'll save that. But the last S for loss, these are losses that you're going to do for a win. Your sphere of influence. You've got to turn them into a sphere of influence client. They're not just a rental client. They're now part of your sphere, which means you're going to do all the things, and I'm going to get to that in the next few slides, in order to put them in a system that you have to stay in contact with them. All right, moving on. So we'll talk about a little bit of back up to the listing and tenant presentation. It's there to educate them and impress them with your knowledge. It's there to reinforce your value proposition. And with that value proposition, down below here, I've wrote out a quote, not a quote. I just wrote out something that I thought I would say to somebody sitting across from them as I start to tell them a little bit about what I do for my value, is that my business is built on relationships. I hope that I can be your realtor for life. The rental business is actually a loss in income for me and any real estate agent that does it. But in general, if you're happy with my service, I really want to over service you and appreciate it if we can stay in touch in the future. And then when you're ready to buy, hopefully we can get you in that position. But I'm also never too busy for your referrals. You know, that's how I build my business. And if you let them know that up front, and then maybe remind them when you close on it and they're happy, you will get business from them. I mean, you've just put them through a process and they know you didn't make any, you actually made a loss on it. You're doing it as a favor. So remember the favor about getting a kid into the school? It's the same thing. You're getting people into a house that they have to live in every day. It's a super important thing for them to be in a nice area. It could be an affordability thing. It could be whatever the motivation is, but it's really important for them, right? So make sure they know why you do leases. Why do you do this? I'd say 90% of people, 90% of agents don't mention it to the client, and 90% of clients think that that's how you make money. So they think this is something that you do for money. And if they think that, they think, but it isn't. It isn't. I'm telling you, don't do it for money, because everyone should be a loss. Either you're losing a lot of time or money. If anybody is saying here that they're going to make money in rentals, you need to shift your mindset. I know somebody specifically that does rentals in Newmarket. I think she did 30 rentals last year. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody can remind me. Anyway, so she has done tons of rentals, right? And it's a whole year of work. 30 rentals? That's a lot of work. That's a full-time job. And I'm not going to say that I don't remember what she made last year in dollars, but I know that 30 rentals is probably going to bring around $30,000 a year, right? Minus taxes and expenses and all the rest of it. You're making minimum wage here doing rentals. So it's not a source of income. It's a source of opportunity. So if you're thinking about saving money here and there, or trying to save $100 by not doing pictures, or you know, the amount that you pay, even we as a company, we lose every time we do a rental as well, right? But we also know that if we can train train everybody as to how to make money from it, we'll make our money later. Same with you. We're in the same boat. We're not making a lot of money. So I know there's a lot of questions. Oh, geez, you know, out of $1,000, $250 is going to the brokerage. I can't afford that. It's meaningless to anyone, to you and me. Like it just makes no difference whether it's 250, 150, 100. That's not where we're making money. We're losing money. We're both losing money. But we got to look at it as an opportunity, right? So just make sure they know that it's a loss for you, and that's okay. I'd be happy to do it. This is what I do. I make people happy. I put them into houses. I want to make sure that you guys, it's a relationship business. You're going to be calling me every year for the next 20 years, asking me questions about real estate, and I'd be happy to answer any of them. So I'm your realtor, right? You can't even call your doctor tomorrow and get an answer the way that I'm going to answer you if you call me about real estate. So that's the type of relationship we're going to have. And these presentations that I'm talking about, yes, you can do them yourself. So I like to always, have something at least as a template for you. So I'm going to get that done within the next, I'm hoping 24 hours actually, but within this week to get those presentations up. At least something that's fairly basic that you can go through as a presentation for a tenant or a landlord. As to the over-servicing your client, we already kind of went through some of those, but the full listing package. So over-servicing as a listing, right? We're listing properties. I always did the spotlight marketing program with my listings for rentals, always. And there's not a lot of agents that do. Judy said that, have you?
Oh, I'll try. I never
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah, so Judy never doesn't do it. And I do it for a lot of different reasons. One, because it's easy and it's set up. It's kind of like easy, just do it.
You don't know what the future holds. So
Yeah.
you put yourself out there
Yeah.
to do a good job.
Yeah, put yourself out there, right? If it says Judy Kendall on it, do you want it to be looking good?
Yeah.
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 You want it to look amazing. I remember having great feature sheets and somebody coming through one of my open houses and they held on to the feature, said, listen, I think you're doing a great job. As what a neighbor said, I'm going to hold on to this. And when we're looking to sell, we're going to give you a call. Like somebody said that just because of my marketing, right? It's just give the good quality on everything you do, right? We talked about the concierge, the Move Snap, right? So that's another over service. In constant contact and feedback, like Judy was saying, in terms of holding their hand through the process. That's so important and making sure you answer all the questions. Don't worry that you're losing money on this. This is a loss because it's an investment. Nobody puts the money into an RSP because they think tomorrow they're going to buy something from it, right? It's not a loss that you're taking $100 and putting it into an RSP. Down the road, 20 years from now, when I retire, that $20 or that $100 is going to be worth $500, right? So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at an opportunity here for those things. Now, it's an investment. Yes, here's a question. Yep.
For the concierge, do the office do it automatically or we have to come?
That's a great point. And I think after I'm going to show you where to go to get onto MoveSnap and answer some of the MoveSnap questions for you. But the answer for the question is does MoveSnap do rentals? Do we automate it for you? Unfortunately, because of the way our system's working with Real Satisfied, we don't enter the client's email address into our system because it makes it look like it's a purchase, and we don't want people that are renting to think it's a buy. It's a weird thing that's happening. So for the time being, we're not able to automate the process for rentals on MoveSnap. So you have the ability at any point in time to go log into MoveSnap and invite them yourself, and that's what we're promoting, is that you just take the time, 5 minutes to go in, invite them in the MoveSnap. All of you have been sent MoveSnap invites. If you haven't clicked on it because you thought it was spam or something, then we can send those invites out for you at any time. We can send it out at the front desk. Most of the girls at the front desk know, or guys, we got Jackie down there too. Or we can even just email your manager. We'll get it sent out for you. We've done it maybe 5 times this year as a mass invite to anybody who hasn't clicked on it yet, but we'll continue to invite you. But yeah, you can get on through that.
But when we handle the sheets,
Yep.
or like stage sheets, that's
Yep.
they do invite.
We do invite all the sales. Yeah, all the selling as well as buying. All the residential sales are automated because we will go in and actually do it for you. But on the rental end, we don't do it for you. So you have to do it yourself.
Contacted.
They will,
Closing, if I do it right now.
if you did a deal,
closing is 3 months.
yeah, so if you did a deal today, what we do is 2 weeks after, within 2 weeks after it firms up. So let's say you hand it in at firm deal, within the next 2 weeks, they'll get an invite.
If they didn't, I have to see what's.
If they didn't, it could be missed. It could be a wrong email address. It could be, yeah, a lot of the sales info sheets that we fill out, it's hard to read the email addresses. So it could be missing a letter or something. So that's why I would suggest is we'll try and automate it for everyone, but go into it yourself. If you happen to invite somebody and then we invite them, we won't send out two. It'll see the email address and it won't send out the second one. So it's not like we're going to duplicate it. You can invite anybody you want anytime. Yeah, I can show you that. Yeah. Okay. So having a system in place for future purchases, so helping your tenant find a good financial planner or mortgage agent is important. The credit monitoring we talked about. If you're representing a landlord, maybe a system for buying more income properties. So you can do a quick investment analysis for income properties. Let them know that that's a source of income, and if you get 10, you get the first one to pay off the last one to start paying off the first one, or the first one to start paying off. So, the whole. If you want to read a book, I think it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad. That one, or is it the Barber, Wealthy Barber? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think it is. He's the one that came up with a condo purchase system. And the purchasing system was you buy one today, you put 20% down, then you buy one in the next couple of years. By the 10th year and the 10th condo, like one a year for 10 years, the income that the first one starts generating, because you've paid down the mortgage at that point in time, starts paying off the second one and third one quicker. And then the second one's paid off, and then that starts paying off. They start paying them off quick. So within 10, 15 years, you actually own 10 condos. And then you're, a couple $1 million in the pocket. So there's some good opportunities for investors to, and he likes to do condos because they're low overhead, less maintenance, and try and keep them within buildings, close to each other. So if there is maintenance, that you can go out and look after all of them in one area. So there's a lot of different systems like that, and everybody's got a system. There's a guy out near London, small town near London, Woodstock. And he's in Woodstock, and he had anyway, a couple of years ago, a system in place for bungalows, or detached bungalows. You could buy them for about 210, 250,000. They rent it out for 15 or 1,800 or something like that a month. He had it all figured out. That would cost really nobody, very little to get into it. And then he would maintain and look after the property maintenance for you. So you didn't even have to live near that. Some people, he said that he has on his investment system is he had, never saw the property. They just knew he's their agent. Go buy me the property, send me the paperwork, and they would just, keep adding to the portfolio. Like that's how good his system was going with regards to investment properties. We often have agents come and do investment seminars for this specific reason, right? They teach the people in the room, this is how, you purchase and maintain. You get equity in a property as well as paying down the mortgage, or if it's an income property. So I know up in Barrie or some of the university towns, it's all about student rentals. I had a student rental back when I first started. That was a nightmare. So I never got back into that. But, it's not for everybody, but different things are, you have to talk to the client to find out, what's their portfolio like, what would complement it, what sort of risk assessment they have.
Hello, to reception, please. Hello.
So that would be a system for future purchases for investment. Now we'll talk about the last one, which is the last S, which is sphere of influence. I do business plans, and as part of our Quick Start program, and all the managers are willing to do business plans for anybody. The part of the business plan is focused at the beginning on the foundations of a good business plan, right? So what is it that we do consistently all the time in order to put more people into a book of business and connect with them, right? How do we stay in touch with them? So Nilifer, you just went through this with me, right? You've gone through business planning. Yeah. And there's a list of things that you need to do. And I think that my top 4 or 5 is like, if you can just get the top 4 or 5. So I put them down here. First one being a newsletter. I think is my number one. It's not the most personal, right? But it is the most automated. Every single month for the last 14 years, 100 of my people that know me get a flyer. It's a little newsletter that we do up, and we send it, every single month. And that'll always be there. It'll always be running. It doesn't matter where my energy level is, whether or not I'm out prospecting or, took some time off or whatever it is, that's always going to be running. That was part of my business plan 10 years or 14 years ago. And then after 10 years, I stopped selling. I'm into management, but that was my number one source of income. And I would do other things to supplement. The next one being pop buys. I always did a pop buy once a year. It was pumpkins in the fall, and then Easter eggs in the spring, or as Easter bunny, chocolate bunnies, and stuff like that. Everybody's got a different way they might do pop buys, different ideas, but there's thousands of ideas out there. Joseph in marketing, he's got a ton of them. We've got about 12 different cards printed right now at the desk down in Thornhill. I'm sure at the other offices they may have some samples, or be able to show you what some of them are as well. Flashlights, there's $1.50 flashlights right now. You can get the Century 21 logo and order 1,000 of them for you, maybe 100. But and then you get a little thing, lighting up. What does it say? Lighting up your real estate? No. Shedding a light on real estate? No, I don't know. Shedding a light on the market or something like that. Something creative that they say on the card. But dropping by somebody's house ever so often, giving them a little gift, even if it's a calendar. For me, it was a pumpkin. And they just knew that. And it was a nice touch. And people always remember that. And again, it's a small item, but it goes a long way. It really does. So the pop buys are important. Note cards, always having note cards on you. Judy better have a note card in that purse over there, because she's been told that a million times, right? Judy's done the Brian Buffini system, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So Brian Buffini is a big note card advocate. And he says if you write 2 a day, 4 a day, actually, Jonathan told me downstairs it's 5. I always said, yeah, do 2, and he's up my game, so he says 5 a day. But he's a big note card person. Jonathan sends out 5 note cards, just a thank you, or it was nice chatting with you, or congratulations on your son's. Like, everybody saw me on Facebook this weekend. I caught a fish. I don't know if anybody's on my Facebook. I caught a fish. Everybody's saying, hey, nice fish, nice fish. Somebody took out a card and said, hey, great catch on the weekend. Hope you had a great vacation or whatever. And put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and I got it in the mail. I'd be super impressed. Like, wow, somebody's on the ball. And if you do stuff like that, you'd be surprised at your clients and what they will think of you. So having all these systems in place and having their name in a like our sphere of influence, our CRM system, having their name as a rental or a landlord in a system that you've set up that does these actionable items, guaranteed next 10 years, you're going to get tons of business off. I've seen people make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of 25 people on their sphere of influence, right? Brian Buffini actually says out of 25 people, you could have a $400,000 career. Like, just 25 top advocates, because they're giving them 2 referrals every year, 50 deals a year, right? Because they refer at least 2 people a year. That's not a lot when you think about it. If one person knows somebody's buying and selling twice a year and you're their agent, you're getting those clients. That's the number one reason why people use a real estate agent, is because somebody suggested them, right? So you've got 25 advocates will get you tons of business. Quarterly calls, you do have to remember to call them, right? Call them every quarter, at least 4 times a year, just to check in. Sometimes it's to, ask if there's, if there's anybody they know that, you're putting together your list for the fall, September list of the markets. When people go back to school, the market goes up, so you're getting organized and you want to contact everybody's looking at a list, if they know anybody. So that would be a good call to be making in the next month, over the next month. But the automation and the systems are so important. To have it automated, to put systems in place, to stay in contact. Okay, so in the end, Nilofer, going back to the beginning, should you do rentals? Is it a good opportunity? Yes, I mean, they can be great opportunities. Do you want to have 10 going at a time and and not have the time to service the people that are looking to buy and sell? No, right? You need to balance yourself off. Maybe taking one here and there to build in your business. You will get to the point where you're doing so much buying and selling that you'll have somebody else do the rentals for you. Okay, and then you'll be having a team of people. They can, you can have your rental division, you can have your fire agents. Like that's where this can get to. But when you're first starting out, there's no better way to get into the business and start doing some deals is through rentals for sure. We do have coming up tomorrow a rental. Find out the time on it. My phone here. Let me find out the time for this one. I think it's 11 o'clock tomorrow in Richmond Hill. If anybody is interested, yeah, rental lead meeting. We're having a meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I think we almost did it by invitation only, but I'm inviting you, so you're all welcome. And we're starting sort of a rental division for online leads, because about 50% or more of our leads that we get in, and we don't get a lot of organic leads. It's not like they're flowing through our front door, but there are a lot of rentals, and we're currently qualifying them ourselves. And anyway, we don't charge a referral fee on these, right? So we're not making zero money on them, but we're spending a lot of time with them. So what we figured was we come up with a rental division that looks after specifically rentals, and those leads will just be sent out, and then somebody who wants to do it will grab the rentals. So for the people that really feel that they can take it to another level and get business from it, that's who this is going to go for. The people that want to spend some time on rental business. I'm shocked that sometimes Debbie, who looks after our leads division, she sends out, when she can't get somebody to take a lead, she'll send out an email, and you'll get it from time to time. Say, listen, I've got somebody who's looking for this, and usually it's probably not even doable, but it's an opportunity for somebody to grab, and sometimes nobody out of 700 agent grabs it. And I'm like, 700 agents, I would be all over that if I was new. Newer agent, for sure, all over it. I wouldn't be all over it, if I was doing a lot of money, because it could be a waste of my time, for sure. It's a waste of somebody's time. If you're making over $200,000, $400,000 a year, and a rental lead comes in, sorry, but my time now is better spent on the people that need me, and maybe my family, right? I need to balance, right? So when you're in the industry and trying to break through and trying to fill your sphere of influence, and you're trying to impress to get more clients and referrals, there's no better way to help somebody do it than do a rental, for sure. So there's that opportunity. So 11 o'clock in Richmond Hill, if you're interested, there'll be a commitment to join a program like that. So let's say we're looking at a handful of agents in every market, and we'll be going over the opportunities there. I'm going to open it up to the people in the room first, and then anybody online, if you guys want to chat, go into your chat window, you can do that. See if anybody has any questions or anything that you want to go over. I will go on after we answer questions, maybe just to show you. Yeah, move snap. I think, let's see if I can get into it, if I can remember a password. Any questions? It's not rocket science. Usually when I do seminars, they're not like, people, are often looking for that magic wand or whatever. Is like, poof, you'll get business. But the reality is the business is there. It's just, it's relationships. People are not going to use you because you put an ad in the paper. They're not going to use you that way. The reason why. People generate opportunities by putting ads in the paper. People generate opportunities by putting ads online. People generate opportunities by going door knocking and cold calling and all the rest of it. But they're not going to use you unless they like you, unless you know what you're talking about. So you have to impress them, right? Every step of the way, right from the beginning, is impress them with your knowledge. Get that presentation ready. So you should all have listing presentations, buying presentations. So now if you're on movesnap.com and you go to sign in at the top right-hand side, if you've accepted your invitation, you can, and you don't know your password, you can reset your password by just hitting reset password and using your Century 21 email address. So that's if you've already accepted, if you've forgotten your password. If you have never accepted it and it's just sitting there, then we're going to have to invite you. So you just send me an email or send the front desk an email. I'm going to see if I can log in here. Hey, good guess. So this is what your dashboard looks like. If you go up in the top right-hand side under client demo, you can actually see where this is what the client will see. You can book a truck, declutter your home, toss away your junk, change your address, pack up your stuff, manage your utilities, manage your internet cable, phone providers, get insurance, savings, schedule a call with the concierge. You can talk to somebody. If you go back, this is your screen, and anybody that I've invited would be here. Okay, and it'd say where they're at in the moving process. It would tell you how many clients we've invited, invites pending, scheduled, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to invite your client, you just hit invite client, put in their name, email address, and answer some of the questions about their addresses. So this is the portal, and everybody has an account. If you were to go to MoveSnap right now and say, listen, I want to join MoveSnap and give my clients all this service, it costs you $100 a month. That's how much this program costs. And many agents have it. They pay $100 a month. We negotiated a deal for everybody in the company, so we provide as part of our service. So it's free to you. You might as well use it because it's a great service. It gives a client, if you go on the client demo, the ability to go in here and say, okay, you know, I need to schedule my utilities. Here's the electric. Prepare to close the account at Newmarket Power and set up the new one at, close this one, set up the new one, water. And then so as soon as you, let's say I was moving. So it's going to give you each one's different. Each system, each utility company is different on how they set it up. Typically, it'll bring you to a website that is exactly where they need to go to put in their new address information. But it helps them through the process. For example, if I was moving to, I don't even know if this exists, 112 Main Street in Vancouver. Can't see this. There we go. And that's in BC. I don't know the postal code, but I'm going to say rent. Let's update that and see if it comes. If it actually works. There it is. So it'll tell you who you need to call, or if you just hit set up a new account, it'll take me right to BC Hydro's new customers, get a new residential account. Like, you know how much time that would cost somebody to try and figure out who do I contact, what's the right number, what's the right address? And it does every municipality across Canada. So wherever they're moving to and from. And there's a difference between Vaughan and North York, between the utility companies. There's a difference. You can invite anybody you want. Yep. You can set as many people up as you want. But you would want to only set up one. But I'm not sure if you can do, let me just see. So when I set somebody up, if you can add a spouse or somebody to close the demo here. Great, it's gonna make me sign in. Okay, close demo, invite client, add a recipient. So you can add two. Yeah, 1, 2. So two people can get access to the same account. That's good. Okay, so that's MoveSnap. It's just an extra feature. It's to over-service your clients. Any other questions? Okay. Hopefully everybody can get out there and do some rentals. I've never said that before. But the reality is that we could, it's not that we're trying to tell people not to do rentals. That's the thing. It's like, you know, yes, rentals are a waste of time. Like, I mean, if somebody says, oh, they're a waste of time, well, yeah, but are they an opportunity? Absolutely. Can you make money from them? Tons. But you do have to service it properly. You can't just decide to put something up and or you know, deal with a tenant and expect that the less amount of service you provide because you're not making any money on it. I hear that a lot. It's like, why would I do a spotlight listing on that? Well, the opportunity's there, but I make no money off of it. Yeah, but you're going to make zero, if not less money, if you don't get any referrals. And the only way to get referrals is to overservice. So either take it and do a wonderful job or don't take it at all. Because then it's just a waste of time. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.